Picture this with me, if you will. It is early morning. The kind of morning where the world feels suspended between night and day, where the first pale light of dawn hasn't quite committed to arriving. You're sitting in your favorite chair, perhaps by a window, perhaps in that corner of your home where you've spent countless quiet hours over the years. And today, something feels different. There's a stillness inside you. A stillness that wasn't there before. You realize, in that gentle morning light, that you've made a decision. Not loudly, not dramatically, but deeply, quietly, irrevocably. You've decided to step away from someone. Maybe it's a friend of many decades whose words have grown sharp as thorns. Maybe it's a family member whose presence has become a storm you can no longer weather. Maybe it's someone you once loved so deeply that their face is etched into your memory like carvings in old oak. But somewhere along the winding road of your life, you understood something profound. Staying was costing you more than leaving ever could. And so, without fanfare, without grand declarations, you simply stepped back. You closed a door. Gently. With respect. But firmly. And now, in this quiet morning moment, you wonder, what will they think of me? What will they understand? Dear friend, let me tell you something beautiful. Something that carries the ancient wisdom of Buddhist teachings, wrapped in the simple truth of human experience. When you cut someone off from your life with grace and intention, they will come to know profound things about you. Things that will echo in their minds long after your physical presence has faded. Things that may, in time, change how they see themselves. Today, we're going to walk together through this tender territory. We'll explore what your silence truly communicates. We'll discover why letting go is not an act of cruelty, but an act of deep compassion, for yourself and, ultimately, for them. We'll understand how your absence becomes a mirror in which others finally see the truth. This isn't about revenge. This isn't about winning or losing. This is about honoring your one precious life. This is about the quiet revolution of self-respect. This is about finding peace in the sacred art of release. So settle in, dear one. Take a slow breath. Let your shoulders drop. Let your jaw soften. This message is for you. Part 1. Silence as a declaration of self-respect. The power of wordless boundaries. There's an old Zen story that goes like this. A student once asked his master, "What is the most powerful thing a person can say?" The master sat in silence for a long moment. The student waited, expecting wisdom wrapped in eloquent words. But the master simply closed his eyes, breathed slowly, and remained in stillness. After several minutes, he opened his eyes and smiled gently. "That," he said, "was your answer." The student was puzzled. "But master, you said nothing." The master nodded. "Exactly. Sometimes, saying nothing says everything." You see, in our culture, we've been taught that silence is absence. That quiet is emptiness. That if we don't speak, we don't exist. But Buddhist wisdom offers us a different understanding. Silence can be one of the most powerful forms of communication. It can be a declaration, a boundary, a complete sentence that requires no punctuation. When you choose to cut someone off from your life, when you step back without lengthy explanations, without arguments, without attempting to justify or defend, you are making a profound statement. You are saying, "My peace is more valuable than your understanding." You are declaring, "I do not need to convince you of my worth." You are affirming, "My presence in your life was never an obligation, and its removal requires no apology. This is not the silence of weakness. This is not the quiet of surrender. This is the noble silence of self-respect. The Buddha spoke of right speech as one of the elements of the Eightfold Path, the path that leads to the end of suffering. We often think of right speech as knowing what to say and how to say it kindly. But there's a deeper dimension to right speech that is often overlooked. Right speech also means knowing when not to speak. It means recognizing when words have become futile, when explanations fall on ears that cannot hear, when dialogue has transformed into a battlefield where no one emerges victorious. In those moments, silence becomes your sanctuary. And when you choose that sanctuary, something remarkable happens. The person you've stepped away from will eventually realize they didn't argue. They didn't plead. They didn't try to make me understand. They simply left, quietly, with dignity intact. And that quiet departure speaks volumes. It tells them that you valued your inner peace more than the exhausting game of trying to change their mind. It tells them that you respected yourself too much to beg for the respect they wouldn't freely give. It tells them that your sense of worth does not depend on their validation. Mindful Practice 1: The Breathing Space of Silence. Let's pause here for a gentle practice. If you've recently stepped away from someone, or if you're contemplating doing so, this is for you. Find a comfortable position. Close your eyes if that feels right, or let your gaze soften on something peaceful in your surroundings. Take a slow breath in through your nose. Feel your belly expand like a gentle balloon. Hold for just a moment at the top of that breath. Now, release slowly through your mouth. As you breathe, silently repeat these words: My silence is not emptiness. My silence is fullness. My silence is respect for myself. My silence is enough. Breathe in again. My silence is not emptiness. Breathe out. My silence is fullness. Breathe in. My silence is respect for myself. Breathe out. My silence is enough. Repeat this 3 times, allowing each breath to anchor you deeper into the truth that you need not explain yourself to those who have repeatedly chosen not to understand. Here's what beautiful truth emerges from this practice. When you realize that silence can be complete, that it doesn't need words to fill it, that it doesn't need justification to validate it, you discover a profound freedom. You are no longer chained to the exhausting work of making others see your point of view. You are free. And that freedom, that becomes visible to those you've left behind. They will sense it. They will feel it. And deep down, even if they never admit it, they will respect it. Part 2: The Transformative Power of Detachment, Releasing the Rope. Before we go further, I want to take a moment to speak directly to your heart. If you're finding value in these words, if something here is resonating with the quiet places inside you, I invite you to become part of our community. Subscribe to Buddha Coha and tap the notification bell so you don't miss our weekly offerings of peace and wisdom. Here, we walk together on this path, learning, growing, healing. You don't have to do this alone. Now, let's continue our journey. Imagine, for a moment, that you're holding a rope. On the other end of this rope is someone who has been pulling you in directions you don't want to go. Every day, there's a tug. Sometimes gentle, sometimes harsh. But always, always pulling. You've been gripping that rope for years. Maybe decades. Your hands are raw. Your arms are tired. Your whole body aches from the constant tension of this invisible war. And then, one day, you realize something that changes everything. You realize, I can simply let go of the rope. Not yank it. Not use it to pull them toward you. Not even tie it more securely. Just open your hands and let it fall. This is the essence of what Buddhism calls upadana, the Sanskrit word for attachment or clinging. The Buddha taught that attachment is one of the primary causes of suffering. But here's what many people misunderstand: attachment doesn't mean love. Attachment doesn't mean caring. Attachment means holding on to something so tightly that the holding itself causes pain. You can love someone and still release them. You can care about someone and still step away. In fact, sometimes the most loving thing you can do, for yourself and for them, is to let go. There's a beautiful teaching in Zen that speaks to this. Holding on to anything is like holding your breath. After a while, it will cause you pain. Think about that for a moment. You cannot hold your breath indefinitely. Your body knows this. At some point, you must exhale. You must release. You must let go. Relationships can become like holding breath. We grip them so tightly, terrified of what will happen if we exhale. We think that holding on is a strength. But true strength is knowing when to release. When you cut someone off from your life through the lens of healthy detachment, you're not being cold. You're not being heartless. You're not abandoning them out of cruelty. You're recognizing a profound truth: this connection, as it currently exists, is causing me to suffer. And my continued presence is not helping either of us grow. Detachment is clarity. It's seeing the relationship for what it truly is, rather than what you wish it could be. It's acknowledging that you cannot change another person, you can only change how much access they have to your peace. And when you detach with intention and grace, something remarkable happens. The other person will sense it. They will feel the absence of your struggle. They will notice that you're no longer pulling on the rope. And in that absence of struggle, they'll come to understand something important. You were never desperate for them. You were choosing them. And now, you've chosen differently. That realization can be one of the most profound mirrors you ever hold up to another person. Mindful practice 2, the visualization of releasing the rope. Let's do something beautiful together right now. Close your eyes and take a deep breath. Imagine yourself standing in a peaceful, open field. The grass is soft beneath your feet. The sky is wide and clear above you. In your hands, you're holding a rope. Feel its texture. Feel its weight. Now, follow that rope with your mind's eye. At the other end is the person you've been struggling with. You can see them in the distance, gripping their end of the rope. Notice how tired your hands are. Notice how your shoulders ache from all the pulling. Now, take a deep breath in. And as you exhale slowly, see yourself opening your hands. Gently, calmly, without anger or resentment. Watch the rope fall to the ground. Feel the immediate relief in your body. Your hands are free. Your shoulders can relax. Your whole being can soften. The other person is still there in the distance, but they're no longer connected to you by struggle. Take another breath and silently say, I release this struggle with love. I release this connection with peace. I am free. When you're ready, gently open your eyes. Carry this image with you. Whenever you feel the pull of old patterns, old guilt, old obligation, remember that you can always open your hands. Letting go is not a single moment. It's a practice. A daily choice. A gentle, repeated act of self-compassion. And each time you choose it, you grow stronger in your freedom. Part 3. Gaining perspective through absence, the mirror of departure. Here is something that often surprises people when they step away from a challenging relationship. In your absence, the other person will learn more about you than they ever did in your presence. Isn't that remarkable? When you're there, present, accommodating, available, it's easy for others to take you for granted. Your presence becomes like air, essential, but unnoticed. Constant, but unremarkable. But when you remove yourself, when you step back, suddenly, there's a space where you used to be. And in that space, they begin to see things they never noticed before. Buddhism teaches us about the concept of sunyata, often translated as emptiness or spaciousness. But this isn't a bleak or nihilistic emptiness. It's a fertile emptiness. An emptiness full of potential and clarity. Think of an empty room. You can finally see its true shape, its true dimensions, when it's not cluttered with furniture. The space reveals what was always there but hidden. Your absence works the same way. When you step away from someone's life, you create a space. And in that space, they're forced to confront things they avoided while you were there. They must face the fact that you weren't dependent on them, you were choosing them. Every day, with every interaction, you were making an active choice to be present. And now, you've chosen differently. They must reckon with the truth that your peace is self-generated. You didn't need them to be happy. You brought your own happiness. And now, you've taken it with you. They must acknowledge that your presence was a gift, not an entitlement. You gave your time, your energy, and your attention freely. And gifts can be withdrawn. This realization can be deeply uncomfortable for the person you've left behind. It pierces the ego. It dismantles the assumption that you needed them more than they needed you. It reveals that the power dynamic they perhaps enjoyed was never quite what they thought it was. And here's the most profound part. This isn't something you're doing to them. This is simply the natural consequence of a clarity you've chosen for yourself. You don't have to explain it. You don't have to point it out. Your absence does all the teaching. A Zen is saying, before enlightenment, chop wood, carry water. After enlightenment, chop wood, carry water. On the surface, nothing changes. But beneath the surface, everything is different. When you step away from someone with the clarity of non-attachment, you continue living your life. You continue your routines, your joys, your quiet pleasures. From the outside, you might look the same. But inside, you've shifted. And the person you've left behind, they'll notice that shift. They'll notice that you're not pining. You're not reaching out in moments of weakness. You're not hovering at the edges of their life, hoping to be invited back in. You're simply living. Peacefully. Completely. That peace, radiating from your absence, tells them something they may have never understood while you were present. You were whole before you knew them. You are whole without them now. Mindful Practice 3. Journaling reflection on your own wholeness. For this practice, I invite you to take out a piece of paper or a journal if you have one nearby. If not, simply hold these prompts in your heart and reflect on them in the coming days. Write or contemplate. 1. What gifts did I bring to this relationship that I can now offer to myself? Think about the love, patience, understanding, and energy you gave to this person. Recognize that these are qualities you possess. They didn't come from the relationship. They came from you. 2. What does my peace look like, independent of this person? Imagine your life in its most peaceful form. What does your morning look like? Your evening. What brings you joy that has nothing to do with them? 3. What will my absence teach them about my true nature? Not with ego, but with quiet honesty. What will they come to understand about your strength, your self-respect, your wholeness, now that you're no longer there to be taken for granted? Take your time with these questions. Let them unfold gently, like flowers opening to morning sun. Part 4. The gift you give by leaving, compassion in release. Now, I want to share something that might surprise you. When you cut someone off from your life with awareness and intention, you're not only giving a gift to yourself, you're giving a gift to them, too. I know this might be difficult to hear, especially if the parting was painful. But stay with me. In Buddhism, there's a concept called karuna, loving compassion. But true compassion isn't always soft and comfortable. Sometimes, true compassion is fierce. It sets boundaries. It says no. It walks away. There's even a teaching about the compassion of the sword, the kind of compassion that cuts through delusion, even when the cutting is painful. When you remove yourself from a relationship that has become harmful, you're offering the other person an opportunity they could never receive while you remained. You're offering them the chance to feel the consequences of their behavior without your cushioning presence to soften the impact. You're offering them a mirror in which they might, finally, see themselves clearly. You're offering them the space to grow, to change, to become someone different, which they cannot do while leaning on you. Think of it this way. When a parent continues to rescue an adult child from every difficulty, they rob that child of the chance to develop resilience, resourcefulness, and maturity. Similarly, when you continue to stay in a relationship where you're mistreated, you rob the other person of the natural feedback that might inspire them to change. Your presence, in some cases, enables them to remain exactly as they are. Your absence removes that safety net. This doesn't mean they will change. That's not yours to control or predict. But it means you've given them the only thing you could give, the truth of consequences. And that's a form of respect. It says, I believe you're capable of looking at yourself honestly. I believe you have the potential to grow. I'm not going to protect you from the results of your choices anymore. That's not cruelty. That's the deepest form of honoring someone's autonomy and potential. Mindful practice 4. Loving kindness for the one you've released. This practice comes from the ancient Buddhist tradition of metta meditation, the cultivation of loving kindness. It might feel challenging, especially if you're still carrying hurt. But I invite you to try it, even if just once. Close your eyes. Take a few deep breaths. Bring to mind the person you've stepped away from. You don't need to feel warm feelings toward them. Just hold their image lightly, as you might hold a leaf that has fallen from a tree. Now, silently repeat these phrases. May you find the peace you're looking for. May you learn what you need to learn. May you grow beyond what our relationship could offer. And may we both be free. Breathe deeply. This isn't about forgiving the harm done. This isn't about pretending everything is fine. This is about releasing the knot of resentment that might still bind you to them. This is about freeing your own heart. When you can wish them peace from a distance, you've truly let go. Part 5. Rebuilding in the open space, planting new seeds. Where something ends, something else can begin. This is the law of impermanence, anicca, one of the 3 fundamental characteristics of existence in Buddhist teaching. Nothing lasts forever. Not joy. Not suffering. Not relationships. And within this truth lies a beautiful promise. The space left by something that has ended becomes fertile ground for something new. When you cut someone off from your life, you might initially feel that space as emptiness, loneliness, a kind of hollowness where there used to be noise. But I invite you to see that space differently. See it as a garden plot that has been cleared. For years, perhaps, this garden was overgrown with weeds, with plants that demanded too much water, too much attention, too much of everything you had. And nothing beautiful could grow because there was no room. Now, the weeds have been pulled. The ground is bare. The soil is ready. What do you want to plant there? This is your invitation, to consciously, mindfully choose what will fill the space that has opened in your life. Maybe it's deeper friendships with people who truly see you. Maybe it's creative pursuits you've neglected for years. Maybe it's quiet time alone, sacred solitude that nourishes your soul. Maybe it's rest. Simple, profound, long overdue rest. There's a beautiful Zen teaching, in the beginner's mind, there are many possibilities. In the expert's mind, there are few. You are, in a sense, a beginner again. The slate is not entirely clean, you carry wisdom from all you've experienced. But in terms of this particular area of your life, you have a fresh start. Approach it with a beginner's mind, with curiosity, with openness. Ask yourself, what is truly possible for me now? And let the answer surprise you. Mindful Practice 5, Planting Intentions in Open Space. Here's a gentle practice for this stage of your journey. Take a quiet moment, perhaps in the morning, perhaps before sleep, and place both hands over your heart. Feel your heartbeat. That steady, faithful rhythm that has carried you through every season of your life. Now, speak silently to your heart. There is space within me now. Space that I choose to fill with peace. Space that I choose to fill with self-respect. Space that I choose to fill with relationships that honor who I truly am. Take a breath. I am ready for what comes next. I am open to growth. I am worthy of gentleness. Sit with this for a few moments, feeling the warmth of your own hands on your chest, the steady presence of your own being. You are here. You are whole. You are ready. Part 6, Closing Reflection, the Quiet Revolution of Self-Choosing. My dear friend, we've traveled far together in these few minutes. We've explored the power of silence, how it speaks volumes without uttering a word. We've understood detachment, not as coldness, but as clarity, not as abandonment, but as liberation. We've seen how our absence becomes a profound mirror, reflecting truths that our presence obscured. We've recognized the compassion in release, how stepping away can be the most loving thing we do. And we've opened ourselves to the possibilities that bloom in newly cleared space. Now, as we come to the end of our time together, I want to leave you with this. What you've done, or what you're considering doing, is not easy. Walking away from someone requires a kind of courage that isn't loud or dramatic. It's a quiet courage. A steady courage. The courage to choose yourself even when everything in your conditioning tells you to keep sacrificing, keep accommodating, keep shrinking to fit spaces that were never made for you. That choice is sacred. It is not selfish. It is not cruel. It is not something to feel guilty about. It is the natural result of a soul that has awakened to its own worth. The Buddha taught that each of us is responsible for our own liberation. No one can walk the path for us. No one can free us from suffering except ourselves. When you cut someone off from your life with intention and grace, you are walking that path. You are saying, I choose peace. You are declaring, I am worthy of respect. You are affirming, my life is precious, and I will no longer spend it in places where I am not cherished. This is the quiet revolution of self-choosing. And in this revolution, there are no losers. Because when you heal, you contribute to the healing of the whole world. When you find peace, that peace ripples outward in ways you cannot see. When you model self-respect, you permit others to do the same. So whatever brought you here today, whatever relationship you're releasing or have already released, know this: you are not alone. You are not wrong. You are exactly where you need to be. And ahead of you lies a path of peace, of growth, of possibility. Walk it gently. Walk it with compassion for yourself. And trust that with each step, you are becoming more fully who you were always meant to be. If these words have touched your heart, if you found a moment of peace or clarity in our time together, I warmly invite you to subscribe to Buddha Coha and join our growing community of seekers. Every week, we share teachings, practices, and gentle wisdom to support you on your path. Tap the subscribe button now and ring the notification bell so you never miss a new video. Share this message with someone who might need to hear it today. Someone who is struggling to let go. Someone who needs permission to choose themselves. Leave a comment below and tell me, what are you ready to release? What space are you ready to create in your life? I read every comment, and your words are part of what makes this community so meaningful. Until we meet again in our next video, remember, your peace is sacred. Your silence is powerful. Your choice to honor yourself is the greatest gift you can give to the world. Be gentle with yourself, dear one. Breathe deeply. And walk in peace. Namaste.